Hey, everybody, welcome to The Thirsty Professional. This is a place where we grab a bevy. I got my Michigan cup here today. We ditch the BS and we get real about careers, purpose, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Beth Campbell. I'm a survivor of 23 years of corporate chaos, now working on my business badassery, and also, I'm trying to get it here, author of the award winning Where the Hell is My Bacon? Where the Hell is My Book? I can't get it on. There it is. Where the Hell is My Bacon? If you're watching live, please let us know that you're here in the comments, where you're from, and what you're drinking. And also, if you're watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay. And any questions or feedback, put it in the comments so we can address it during the live stream or a future episode. So today we have another very special guest on The Thirsty Professional. I don't know how it is that I have so many people in my life that are amazing, that have wonderful journeys and are just beautiful people, and this is no exception. Her name is Maria Elena, and she is a confidence coach for Crossdressers. Maria Elena is based in Spain. She is the proud single mother of two incredible souls. She is founder of Girls School, which is a tailor-made program for crossdressers. She spent 30 years in the tourism industry, and now she's on an amazing journey of self-development, energy healing, life coaching. She calls herself the crossdresser's fairy godmother, and believe me, she is magical in so many ways. Maria Elena, welcome to The Thirsty Professional.
Thank you so much for having me here, Beth.
Awesome.
And let me tell you that if you feel yourself surrounded by amazing people, it's because you deserve it.
Oh, thank you. I really was thinking about this today, and I was just looking at last week. I had Heidi Medina, and it was an amazing show. And then I've got you, and I just love our conversations. And I just thought, and I've got so many other people just keep coming, and I'm getting lined up, and I'm just like, I am just so grateful. Just checking in here, we've got Ariana Gibbs. She is a good friend of mine from Florida, drinking her coffee. Hey, Anna, love you. Stella Scott. Hey, by the way, Stella coming up in 2 weeks on this very show. So the ladies with, I know the lady, she said the lady was with the hats. Is Maria Elena's hat not just amazing? When she came on camera, I was just squealing with delight because and she looks so amazing today. So we are going to talk about your journey today, your career, your life journey, your experience and wisdom as a parent to a transgender non-binary child, which has been instrumental, I know, in your journey. But before we get to that discussion, what are you drinking today, Maria Elena?
I'm a tea person, so I always drink tea.
I love that cup. Well, I almost thought you were going to say water because you just came off of a 3-day water fast.
Yes, that's true.
I'm about to go on a liquid fast next week because I have my first colonoscopy. Sorry, too much information, but anyway, we got Eileen Pizzi here drinking coffee in New Jersey. Hi, Eileen. Welcome. Okay, so Maria Elena, we have so much to talk about because I really want to dive right in. Let's start with your journey. So you were 30 years in tourism, and now you're helping crossdressers. So kind of walk me a little bit through how that happened. I mean, what did you do in tourism? You must have some great stories to tell there.
I was working in different companies, but always connected with people. I mean, always customer service. Don't give me papers, don't give me computers. I mean, I am happy when I can talk to people and I can interact with them. What happened is that in 2018, that was a huge moment for me. I got divorced, had my 2 children. One of them was still quite young. I was struggling in a company with, it was really a difficult time for me. And the same week that I received the news that my father just had 3 more months left,
Oh.
I got fired.
Oh.
And then my reaction was, okay, I feel life is trying to tell me something. Maybe there is another way of living. Maybe there is something else that only working, and leaving my children alone with my parents because when they have holidays in the tourism industry is when I have more work.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So that was a big shift for me to say, okay, let's stop everything. Let's take care of my dad. Let's take care of my family, and let's see what to do with my life. And I started receiving as a client coaching, energy healing, family constellations, theta healing sessions. And it was so amazing for me, this world, that I decided that's what I want to do.
Oh, that's so inspiring because I know so many people who have wanted to get, myself included, who had wanted to get out of that traditional job world. That, like you said, there's just, there's some good. I mean, I can't say everything was not, was bad about corporate, but it
Mhm.
does get, the older that we get, we just look more for that fulfillment. And I love that you got these messages that, you know what, maybe there is something else, something more fulfilling. So
Exactly.
awesome.
I imagine that I was receiving messages before, but I was not paying attention to that. So finally, life pushed me hard.
Same,
It's like,
same.
okay,
Yeah.
now you will understand.
We're gonna do it for you. We know what you
Yeah,
want. We know that something's better. You need something better. We're gonna just
exactly.
make it happen. Yeah, I love it.
And then during this whole process of self discovery, let's say that, another episode was really important for me. In 2020, my daughter came out to me as a transgender, non binary person. She was 16 at that time. And at that moment, I realized that I had no idea about anything. I mean, in this world of transgender, I had no idea what non binary meant. It's like, okay, what are you talking about? So I tell her, okay, I love you. For me, that's will never change, that's for sure. However, I need information. I mean, I don't know how to help you. How can I be the best mom to support your journey? So I decided to unlearn everything I thought was right.
You were
Because
like
that
the
was,
you were the textbook of how I imagine that somebody would want their mom to be telling them anything difficult because you're just accepting, acknowledging I don't know everything,
yeah,
and please help me to understand and to learn. I mean, I'm literally getting chills thinking about that. I mean, really just an amazing job for you as a mom, and I can only imagine how relieved and how amazing that must feel for your child to be having such acceptance. I mean,
yeah.
that's amazing.
So it came natural for me, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, what I thought was right is not the reality I have at home. So let's be open to new possibilities, new um, concepts, and new ideas that I was even aware that they existed.
Mhm.
And I remember at the beginning, I was asking so many questions to my daughter. By the way, I said that she considers herself non binary. However, I'm using the feminine because she wants to be called with a feminine name with feminine pronouns. That's why.
Can you maybe just for that anybody out there who's listening, so you can help us understand, so she's transgender, non-binary, and what does that mean more?
It means that she's not comfortable by identifying herself as a man or as a woman. She prefers to consider herself just a person, just a human being. And she told me, Mama, I don't want to fit in any box. And I don't want to go from one box to another. So it's not about going from man to woman. It's not that. Um, I'm just a person. And I feel more comfortable if you use this specific feminine name with feminine pronouns. Okay,
Beautiful.
that's great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hmm.
So how did that so tell me a little bit more about how that influenced where you're at right now with your cross-dressing work.
The more I started knowing the LGBTQ plus community, the more open minded I became. Because when you have a transgender child, especially non binary, well, that's my experience, you ask yourself a lot of questions. It's like, okay, I am a woman because I truly feel that I am a woman. I truly believe and I am comfortable by being a woman.
Right.
Or maybe I never ask myself that question.
Ooh. How many of us have? I probably not a lot of
But
people. We just take for granted
yeah,
those constructs within which we have been raised and indoctrinated in some cases. So, yeah.
yeah, but that's the thing. Gender is a construct. So, what does really mean to be a woman? I don't know.
Yeah.
Having a certain physicality makes me a female, but not a woman. Um, some specific behavior? No. Using some specific clothes? Neither.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's the classic thing that the questions that we say, "Well, does it if I have breasts, does that mean that I'm a woman?" Well, no, because many women don't have breasts. Does it mean if I can bear children? Well, no, because many women cannot bear children, they're still women. So, yeah, there's just so much ambiguity around what does
yes.
it even mean, so
Yeah. And so during the whole process, I got certified as a life coach. And at the same time, I was still learning around the LGBTQ plus community. And when I decided to work with this specific community, I came across amazing crossdresser who told me, Maria Elena, I have a huge Facebook page with thousands of followers that are cross-dressers. I want to help them. I don't have the time. I don't have the knowledge. I'm not a coach. What if we work together? Because they need someone to tell them that they are amazing.
Aw.
And especially if that person is not another cross-dresser supporting cross-dressers.
Yeah,
If there is a woman in front of them telling them, there's nothing wrong with you.
yeah.
You don't need to fix anything because you're not broken. You like to wear women's clothes? Okay, what does it mean?
Well, we're gonna talk about that in just a second. Let me go to the comments real quick, so I wanna check in with some of our folks. Doris Walsh, the amazing Doris Walsh, is, checking in, overdosing on coffee, so she is on elderflower cordial. That sounds really good. Stella Scott says, Maria Elena Pamies La Fuente, you are so right. It does say something about Beth's awesomeness. I think she was referring to, thank you. And I appreciate that. I do appreciate that so much. Heidi says, amazing support and love from a mom, 100%. And Heidi says, I have and decided I chose to embrace being a woman, but it was an interesting thing to question.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the interesting things here is because so many of us, because we do fall into the construct of the societal upbringing and the quote norms that of gender and sexual identity. I consider it it's a privilege and easy for me to just not even think about it, right? And that is a privilege because I have not had to because I fall into that box. But
Mhm.
imagine the people that don't fall into the box and what they have to go through. Okay, so started touching upon some of the misconceptions about cross dressers, and so let's talk about some of those because I know there are a lot. You and I have talked about quite a bit. So, what are some of the misconceptions that people have about cross dressers, and particularly we're talking here about male cross dressers in feminine clothing, right? Is that an accurate?
Exactly. If in case anyone doesn't know what a crossdresser is, um, it can be a woman wearing men's clothes, but usually it's the opposite: men using females' clothes. Um, Having in mind that this is, so broad.
Right.
What is a feminine clothes and
Right,
what's not?
right. Traditionally feminine, and I would also say, male identifying, because I'm sure that there are some, male identifying persons out there who are cross dressers. But yeah, so it's very broad, but some of the misconceptions
Yeah.
are, um,
The vast majority of them are not gay. There are
which is
straight
which
men.
is very interesting, right? So
Yeah.
anybody out there who is, just listening and absorbing, most cross dressers, male to in
Mhm.
women's clothing, traditional women's clothing, are not gay. That
No.
is, and I've told a little bit of this story about, I had somebody in my life very close to me who was married, heterosexual, so not gay, but had for many years been exploring women's clothing very
Mhm.
much in private. So yeah, but it's an interesting thing to digest. I think for some people that I think there's an assumption it's not true.
Yeah. And that's why it is so difficult for some of them to talk about that, even with their spouses,
Yeah,
with their partners. It's like, how can I explain to my spouse that I love to wear women's clothes because I feel excited? For some of them, it's like a fetish. For others, it's like giving themselves permission to explore feelings and to be like more tender.
mm.
And let's be honest, I mean, women's clothes are so different if we compare with males
Oh
clothes.
yeah.
I mean, the fabrics, the colors, the textures, combination, I mean, they look completely different.
Oh yeah. Well, traditional women, and I'll say traditional because women, of course, wear many things, but the traditional women's clothing tend to be softer. There is historically a vulnerability aspect to skirts, and in the past, things like corsets and some norm that no one could ever achieve. But yeah, so there's a lot of, but there's, I mean, and I mean, as a woman, I think that there are many wonderful things. I don't think that softness and vulnerability are negative things, although,
Mhm.
society might want us to believe differently. But yeah, there's a softness and they are different.
Yeah. Um,
So some of the other, I just want to, as we were talking through, because I know that there are a lot of other misconceptions out there. I think one of them is, and maybe you can speak to the accuracy of this. A lot of people, I think, believe that cross dressers want to transition to being a woman. They're transgender, that they want to be a woman versus
mhm.
physically versus exploring their feminine side.
That's another of my misconceptions at the beginning. I thought that cross dressing was like step between, I mean, a step before transition. And for some of them, it is true, but
Yeah,
not for all of them. For some of them, yes, they start exploring, and then they feel, okay, maybe there is more. And as is the same that I discover with my daughter. There is not only one way to be a crossdresser. There's not only one way to be a transgender person.
yeah.
So for many of them, they just want to wear these women's clothes and have this experience.
Yeah. I think another a myth that you had kind of opened my eyes to even just this week is that cross dressers are rare. That there's just a few of them out there. They're not. And you were telling me a great statistic from just a friend of yours
Hmm.
who, I think a doctor, and
Yes.
what? Yeah, talk to me a little bit about what he had brought to your attention which I thought was just amazing.
In fact, he's my business partner. Is that one that I told you before that had this huge Facebook community?
Yeah.
He's a doctor, and he did like a 23rd year of research around this topic because he's a crossdresser himself. And he talks about one, how do you say that in English? One up to
One
10,
out of.
out of
Yeah.
one out of six men is a crossdresser.
That's fascinating. So I actually went out and did a little research. So I found this great, and this is from Quora. So, you know, and I please go out and fact check me. But there was a University of Michigan professor that so here in the States named Lynn Conway, and she studied this question about crossdressers. And her research indicated that 20 to 30% of all males crossdress at least once in their lifetime, and that 3 to 11% dress publicly on a regular basis. So somewhere between 1 and 4 million, and that's a lot. I mean, this is not you know, take all statistics for you know, with a grain of salt, but I think it's much more prevalent, and because it is such a private thing,
Yeah.
we just don't know. I didn't know that this person in my life was exploring women's clothing until very late in my, you know, well, I was well into adulthood, and this person was even in senior, a senior citizen. So another thing that I discovered too is that developmentally, and I don't have kids, so I, you know, I can't speak to this directly, but it's very normal for kids to like explore different expressions of the opposite or different genders. It's very normal. So that, you know, which is good. I wish we would we would let it remain normal, but unfortunately we become adults and we
And also imagine for a child, uh, maybe a toddler, maybe a little older, playing with mom's clothes.
yeah,
Some
sure.
of them they start with mom's clothes. So this is not about sex. This is not about gender. It's about love.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, maybe mom is working or is taking care of my siblings, and my way to connect with mom is to wear her clothes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a scarf, maybe it's I don't know, something.
And
And and for some of them this is a start.
yeah. And then how many of them are just having fun and, like you said, exploring that love, and
Exactly.
then they have somebody, usually a family member, who makes them feel like that there's a lot of shame. Do you find in your work, you know, what is it? Why is it so difficult for many male cross dressers to be out in the open? Is it fear, shame, guilt, uncertainty? I mean, what is the biggest?
So let's use the example of that boy that is playing with mom's clothes. Okay, mom arrives at home and sees the boy with her clothes. She's not happy. She's like, okay, what are you doing? This is wrong. Don't do that again.
Yeah,
And maybe that boy is always, I don't know, beaten.
yeah. Oh,
So
I'm sure it absolutely that
so
there are abuse.
what is the connection? If I do that again, I need to do it in secret. This is not correct.
Mhm.
um, I cannot share that with anyone. And then when they come to me as adults, it's like, okay, let's explore. When did you start? What happened? What was the reaction when someone found you with that dress? Oh, I was beaten and my mom was so angry. Or maybe my older sister, and they were always blaming at me or saying bad things. So that's the connection. Okay, I need to keep that in secret. And
This is
maybe they come to me and they told me, you know, this is my secret for my whole life. I don't, and I need to share this with someone, and you are the one. So, and I feel so honored,
As
Beth.
that has to feel good when somebody says,
Yeah, because it's like,
"I choose
okay,
you to."
you see me on social media, you feel you know me, but maybe it's the first time we talk, and they come. Some of them they book a call with me. They come on camera, completely dressed up, and they told me, it's the first time in my life I wear women's clothes in front of another woman.
I am not surprised at all that you have this connection because I've told this story to many people. But the first time that I met you, I'll say met in quotes, through Stella Scott's clothing, of course,
Mhm.
Classy Vintage Mastery, which is on her amazing app, Cosmic Strategies. And or actually she I don't think it's necessary. Anyway, you just contact her if you're interested in hearing more about this amazing course. But anyway, Maria Elena and I met through this course, and the first time I ever met you was through comments in our group that we were in, and you had put in a couple of photos, and I just remember thinking, so it was something very, very spiritual and deep that I just thought, this is a beautiful soul. I really felt a connection. And so I am not at all surprised that you have people that have never met you in person and they only know you from your social media. I can tell from the comments in your YouTube, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but that just the love and the gratitude out there. So I think that's amazing. Just amazing.
Beth, another important moment for me was, and it happened, I feel maybe a year and a half ago, when I understood finally what does it mean that life has a deadline. We all know that, but I really understood that, okay, we are here. Even if you're not spiritual and you don't believe in other lives, and you think that this is the only life we have and there is nothing else, or maybe you feel or you believe that there are other lives and we are spiritual beings having a human experience, what is true and what we all know is that this body we have now, one day, someday, we don't know why, will end.
Yeah.
And the moment I understood that, it's like, okay, if my time is limited, because I don't know if I have 5 minutes left or 5 years or 50, it makes no sense to pretend to be someone else's. It
Yeah.
makes no sense. I mean, I'm here to be myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to be judged. So there is no point in judging other people. Who am I to judge
Right.
anyone?
Yeah. My husband always says that neither breaks my arm nor steals from my wallet. So why would it matter to me what somebody wants to be? Well, you and I've had a lot of great conversations about the spiritual aspect. You're even writing a book about the spiritual perspective of cross-gender, transgender, non-binary individuals. So tell us a little bit about the book that you're writing, and then maybe we can talk a little bit about that. Does that change the conversation if we think of ourselves as something greater than our more mortal body?
For me, I mean, the way I see all this community, cross-dressers and transgender, and especially non-binary, makes more sense from a spiritual
Yeah.
perspective. I believe that we are eternal souls having a human experience. And for me, cross-dressers are souls that in this lifetime, they are giving themselves permission to question those norms,
Yeah.
to explore things that some years ago were completely taboo. And the more they have information and the more we talk about that, and this is one of the reasons because I talk anytime I can about that topic, they are giving themselves permission to explore feelings, because traditionally men need to be so strong, and they are not allowed to talk about feelings or even to feel
Right.
anything.
Yeah, they just have to provide. Go out and
Exactly.
kill the saber-toothed tiger and provide the meat, and that's it. Boom. Don't cry, don't be vulnerable.
So for me, they are so courageous and brave to explore, let's say, the other side. And please don't
Yeah, no, no, yeah. Something
misunderstand that
something
when I say
something
one side
outside
or
of
the
that
other.
societal norm construct. Yeah, no, I get
Yeah.
you.
Then the way I see transgender people is like, okay, let's go a little bit further and let's connect my internal feelings with my external appearance.
Yes.
If there is no coherence, okay, let's see what can I do here. And then there are other group of souls that are the non-binary people, that for me they are even more connected with their essence, because souls are genderless.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what's the point in dividing people into male and female? Because, and one of the things is because there are a lot of people in between.
Yeah.
Even if we only focused on physicality, there is not only male and female people. They are also intersex people that have physical characteristics of
Yeah.
male and women. I
Exactly. Yeah.
mean, male and female.
Yeah.
And they are around 2% of the population. So it's not just one, two people in the world. There are millions.
It's such an interesting thing for me because I wish I could that more people would understand that things like feminism helps people who are not women, right? And acceptance of a cross-dresser and what they choose to do and explore in their life helps women, and it helps other men that are not cross-dressers. I mean, it is all
Mhm.
really connected. I do find it interesting from a spiritual perspective, and I'm not a super spiritual person at all, but if I find it interesting as far as gender, that as societies, we nobody has ever gone out there and gotten all riled up and bent out of shape because the German language has a neutral gender in it, right? And yet, as soon as a person says, "Well, I don't really feel male or female," then we get all, certain people get all bent out of shape. And I do think it is, and I don't want to come down on anybody who is religious, but I do think there are some people. It's ironic to me that there are a lot of people who believe in a soul. It is a part of their core religion and what they accept and believe.
Mhm.
But yet and if you believe in a soul, gender and sexuality are so physical and emotional, and corporeal, but you believe in a soul, but you don't believe that that soul could be anything but strictly male or strictly female,
Yeah.
heterosexual, designed to breed. And I just think there's a lot of hypocrisy out there about that,
Mhm.
and a lot of certainly irony. Um, how's your book coming? Are you
I don't have
a
a
date yet? Well,
specific
I
date.
will
No,
so
not
look
yet.
forward to it.
Not yet. Not yet. And
Okay. Yeah. Anything else on your the
no, I just
spirituality?
want to come back to this idea that gender is something we made up at some point in our history as humanity. And it served us for a long time in one way or another. However, if there are people that they don't fit into any of the boxes we created, It's not the person who needs to change to fit in the box.
Right.
It's the box.
They didn't create the box.
Exactly.
They
So
didn't put the label on themselves. Somebody else did.
it is the box that we created
Yeah.
that needs to change.
Yeah.
If we invented that, and there is people that feel excluded, okay, let's change what we created.
Right.
And that's the point of also our evolution. We create things, they serve for a period of time, and the moment they don't serve anymore, okay, let's change it, let's tweak it,
Yeah.
or let's destroy it, maybe, or reframe it. I don't know.
I think for a lot of people, of course, there are many, unfortunately, too many extremes out there that would have you, thrown in jail for being not in the box that they've created. But I think a lot of people too, it's probably discomfort, right? They don't know, like, you're just a certain accepting personality where when you had something that was, all right, this is different. I don't really know how to deal with this, but I'm going to open myself to. I think for a lot of people, it is uncomfortable. I do hold out a lot of hope that over time, as we have accepted other things like women being, able to work in a workforce or have their own credit card, that this too will come to pass. Quick comment from Stella Scott, to where we're talking about women versus men cross dressers, and it's easier for women to somewhat to cross dress. I agree with that.
Yeah.
We're allowed to wear trousers, ties, have short hair. However, there, in some areas, being full on, as she says, butch, that's a different story. I think it is a very interesting thing you're making me think of, Stella, that whereas it's easier for women physically to be more, dress more, traditionally masculine,
Mm-hmm.
but emotionally and intellectually, we're bossy versus leader. We're still aggressive versus a man would be ambitious or assertive. So I think it's very interesting that we still have a long way to go there. If anybody has not, I know you didn't put this in your contact info, but you have a great YouTube channel with some amazing videos out there, shorts and some longer videos too. And it's so supportive, and it's I mean, really, just reading the comments from some of your followers is so heartwarming. You've got one video that's kind of going off the rails a bit there. What is it? What is it up to, like 10,000 plus views on there?
11,000 today.
Oh, 11,000.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, congratulations on that. I'm so happy that the message is getting out there. And tell me about a little bit about some of the comments and some of the reach outs that you've had like a bunch of people like just wanting to talk to you and thank you.
Yeah. The thing is that I feel that we need more information. No one was talking about cross dressing in public like I'm talking. And as a woman, so again, it's not one cross dresser saying, okay, this is me, this is what I'm doing. No, there is
Yeah.
a woman telling to the world that yes, cross dressers exist, there's nothing wrong with them. They have these, let's say, preferences. So what? There's nothing wrong with them. It's
No.
just another way of being, because that's a way of being. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's be open and honest, and especially for women. Okay, open your mind. You can have a great partner that cross dress, and that could be an amazing experience. So let's talk about that. Let's understand what does truly mean to be a cross dresser,
Yeah.
and let's open more spaces for them to express themselves.
Amen to that. So we ran some promos for this episode, and we got some comments. I want to just read a few of them here on this topic. So Heidi says, personally, I'm from the camp of not caring what other people decide to wear and support anyone in their chosen style. It's really none of my business. Instead, I just enjoy the person, and to be honest, I've gotten quite a few fashion tips from my cross-dressing friends that I happily implement. I'm 100% supporter of letting people be themselves, however that looks. Amen to that. And Becky says, "Oh, the world needs more of this." Beth Ann Campbell, this looks like it'll be a powerful episode. I agree, it has been. People should always feel free to be themselves and express themselves, however and whichever ways they want. Yes, again, underscore underscore. And then in the comments, we've got Alameen saying he watched your YouTube. Just awesome. Yes, it is. Really go out and follow her, like and subscribe on YouTube, because she's just some great. You have just again, as I said earlier, it's just you have such a way of a natural connection. So and it really comes across in your amazing videos. So we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon. So if anybody has any final comments or questions, let's get them into the chat, because we do have a little bit of a delay here. Maria Elena, before we end, what else would you like your listeners to know, and what do you have coming up? Do you have any? I know you've got a gift, a freebie for our viewers, and I'll post that link in the comments, but I'll put it up here. But yeah, what do you want to? What are your final words, and what have you got coming up?
Just love. I mean, my whole message is about love. What if this person is different? So what? There's nothing wrong. Just allow yourself to really meet this person, to really know that person, and just be open to what that person can offer to you. And that person can be a crossdresser, a transgender person, a non-binary, anyone. I mean, life is about love.
Yeah.
This
I love
is
that.
one day someone asked me, what's your big dream? I mean, the huge one that you will never achieve. And I said, I imagine myself creating like an alternative to talk about only one topic, and that topic will be love. And I was imagining myself, in this huge space, and I feel this is my way to spread love to the world, to talk, to give voice to the people that are telling exactly the same, but people listen to me and not to them. So let's help them to share that message to the world. So this is about love, Beth. There's
I
nothing
love
else
it.
but love.
I love that you are giving a voice. I'm a big proponent of speaking out, and also speaking out on behalf of people that, for many reasons, are unable, unwilling, or fearful, or whatever. And I just love that you're giving your voice and helping. I hope some of those people become more comfortable in embracing themselves and just being them. And like you said, just embracing love. And for those out there who have someone in their life, just think about it. Just think about what's going on, understand it, and I think that'll make it so much easier. So I'm going to put a couple of links up here, because I know you've got a lead magnet here, a little gift for folks. So mariaelenaonline.com, /therealyou. Go there for your freebie. And of course, connect with Maria Elena on LinkedIn. I put her link up there, but I'll put this all in the comments as well. And is LinkedIn the best place? We'll put your YouTube up there as well.
Sure.
LinkedIn and YouTube. Okay, awesome.
Sure.
Okay. Any final comments? Let me go to the chat. Doris Walsh, each of us is unique. Be open and curious. Be accepting. None of us has perfect knowledge. Be open to learn. Yes, with everything. With everything. Maria Elena, thank you so much for joining me here on The Thirsty
Thanks
Professional.
to you. That's a pleasure.
Oh, you were just, and the fact that you wore this amazing hat is just the icing on the cake. But I love that you're so candid on these topics that, frankly, we really do need to talk more about. So thank you so much.
And thank you for this amazing conversation. And I
Anytime,
told you
anytime.
before that, these are these kinds of conversation that I consider sacred conversations.
Yeah. We need more of them. We definitely need more of them.
So
So
thank
thank
you
you so
so
much.
much for creating the
It is
space.
my pleasure. Anytime you come back, and we're gonna once you, especially once you get your book out, we're gonna bring you back, and as you go through your journey. All right. Well, so next week on the Thirsty Professional, we're going to be on hiatus because I'm getting my first colonoscopy. So that's fun. It'll be great. But on January 31st, we're going to return with our very special guest, Stella Scott, who has been commenting here today. So Stella is, I don't know, it's probably easier to say what she isn't, but she is an astro coach. She helps executive women rewrite their inner stories and break free from self-doubt and rediscover their magic and lead with confidence. She's also the creator of the mobile app Cosmic Strategies, which I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot toot. I have 2 articles on Cosmic Strategies right now, and you can go out and you can get that app on the App Store or the Google Play. So Stella is an amazing role model and mutual friend of Maria Elena and I, and we are going to talk about many things, but I hope we talk a lot about being badass women because we are. So I hope you will join us for that. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please connect with both myself and Maria Elena if you're not already. And if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Any additional questions or feedback, leave them in the comments or send us a DM if you're able. And above all, congratulate yourself for getting real about your career, your purpose, and your fulfillment. Maria Elena, Miss Hattie Arbuckle, and whatever your hat's name is, we all bid you a fond farewell. Take it easy. Bye,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.